if you're hosting any kind of event, you're an event organizer, an event planner, you need to take an event liability.
So is events liability, is it the same as public liability, or those are totally two different things?
Yes, correct. That is a good question. That is a disclaimer. For theft in events liability, it is not catered for. Yes, it is purely if you're injured. Because how would you prove that my bag was stolen?
I'm hearing you're talking about the Holland from South Africa, because it's a very mature market, and it's doing so well. Yeah, it's doing so well, and hopefully that explains why they came to Kenya to tap into this market.
Of course, you brought vendors, food vendors, and now they are caterers. And then out of that scenario, somebody is poisoned. They get a food poisoning. That's also something that we cater for when it comes to the events liability.
And actually, I was bamboozled to learn that APA has a special package for event people. Those are our people, and that's our key demographic. And for the longest, our MICE industry has always been on the shadow. And actually coming to learn that there is an insurance agency that provides that and caters specifically customized for the MICE industry.
Each and every event, it has its own unique ways. It has its dynamics. So for an event liability, so you have to take, it has an employer's liability in it, it has a product liability in it, and a public liability in it. So at least it is custom made and it is a package.
So then how do the insurance industry create trust and change the narrative and the perception that insurance, it's not patapotea or something? So how do you build trust with the public?
You need an event liability because you are trying to cushion on the financial losses and the reputation that is at stake. Yes. So that you need it for the sake of that reputation and the peace of mind. We need also to educate the masses that there are exclusions. When you take this cover, there's something that we do not cover.
That's true.
And they are called purely exclusions. And we go through the exclusions so that when something happens, you clearly know, I was already notified about this exclusion. That is how I got into APA, because now APA is a brand on its own.
Interesting. It's a big jina kubwa.
Yeah, ni kubwa, because now actually we are the company, we are awarded as the best company of the year for 2 consecutive years.
Really?
Yes.
So who is Betty Wambui Kiambati? Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Peter here, MICE ambassador for Kenya. Today we have a very brilliant guest. We are going to discuss about risk and insurance in the event management landscape. And as usual, we have our partners who make this podcast a fruition and comes to you weekly for you to learn about the MICE industry. Of course, Sarit Expo. Sarit Expo is one of the largest beamless column-free venue we have in East Africa, and also they are members of UFI and the Marketing Society of Kenya. And recently, Sarit Expo, they joined the Association of Kenya Business event. This week, we'll be having the Africa MICE Expo that will be taken at this prestigious venue, Sarit Expo Center. So that is located at the heart of Kenya's capital. Have a look at it. This week we'll be having the Africa MICE Expo. We anticipate to have over 2,500 delegates streaming into the exposition. So why is it important for you to take place? It's important for us because it's going to be a marketplace for the East African market and also the African market at large. We have more than 45 exhibitors coming on board. We have partners and sponsors. One of the key sponsors we have on board are Nitty Gritties. We have Conferencing in a Box, one of our gold sponsors, and without forgetting the Arts Group, our platinum sponsor. Karibu Africa MICE Expo. See you there. We are back. Today we have a guest called Betty Wambui Kiambati from APA Insurance, but it's best if she did the introduction by herself, and we need to see what APA Insurance has in store and actually demystify the insurance landscape in Africa. How are you, Betty?
I'm fine, Simon.
Thank you for coming on board.
Thank you too for having me here.
Yeah, I know you had a very tight schedule.
Yeah. I was rushing from another meeting, but I had to be here.
Okay, glad for having you here and taking these times that you can educate our demographic when it comes to insurance, risk. In fact, not that you've worn a red blouse, it means now it's danger. So you need to explain to them that right now, so we're discussing serious matters. So who is Betty Wambui Kiambati?
I love that question. So Betty Wambui Kiambati, she's an insurance advisor at AP Insurance, like you said earlier. And she's very passionate about providing solutions to my clients, that is individuals, be it businesses. So it goes to a place of creating peace of mind where it matters the most.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So creating impact where it matters the most.
True.
So what was your entry point into the insurance landscape? So where did your understanding and need for covering risk come from?
Okay, so I think it will start from my personality as a person.
All right.
I'm very empathetic. And secondly, I love providing solutions to people. So whenever I find anyone in trouble, I'll help them. To a point that my generosity goes to an extreme, but it is a calling that I was born with. And secondly, I would say it's based on my education background. So I studied, which was in Bachelor of Commerce. I studied in JKUAT. And there was a course that was about insurance. And I found it very intriguing to a point whereby I was like, so you mean I can educate people and bring this awareness to people about their businesses and financial literacy to somebody who has no idea or purely has invested so much in their businesses and they don't know what to do. So that was where that desire came in. So that is how I ventured into insurance.
All right.
Yes.
Interesting. And that is how you got into APA?
That is how I got into APA, because now APA is a brand on its own.
Interesting. APA it's a big jina kubwa.
Yeah, ni kubwa, because now what actually we are the company, we are awarded as the best company of the year for 2 consecutive years.
For real?
Yes, because of our services.
Interesting.
Yes, our services are excellent and very affordable. We look at value addition.
Nice.
So there's no way you're going to spend a lot of money and there's no value for your money. So when it comes to APA, it is a brand.
Right.
Yes.
On its own.
On its own.
Yes. And I'm just trying, on that note, I'm trying to understand what is this risk that we keep talking about. So before we get to the insurance, I just need to understand what is risk.
Okay.
What is a risk?
So risk is something that is unexpected. Like you can't clearly tell what it's all about, but it can come and destabilize your finances. So we are talking of you ventured into business and then maybe fire breaks out or somebody is injured in your premise. That is a risk that can render you bankrupt.
So a risk needs to be unprecedented.
Yes, exactly.
So
correct word.
Fantastic. Yes. Then that means if I get kerosene or maybe petrol, I put it in my house, I forget, so then something happens, so that is not a risk. So that with insurance going to cover that?
No, it cannot, because now that one it's intended. It has, if it is intended purely, that is for us. We do not cover an intended risk.
Fantastic.
So it has to be something that is unforeseen and you're going to incur the financial loss.
All right.
Yes.
So you're cautioning me from such risk that was unforeseeable.
Exactly.
All right. Fantastic. Now, you know, our demographic, we had a conversation recently, late last month, and actually I was bamboozled to learn that APA has a special package for event people.
Yes.
Those are our people, and that's our key demographic.
Yeah.
And for the longest, our mice industry has always been on the shadow. And actually coming to learn that there is an insurance agency that provides that and caters specifically, customized for the mice industry. it was quite a huge stuff for us, and we're like, all right, so let's see what exactly is happening now. Why did the PA decide to focus into the events people? So was there a need for that? Was there a gap that was existing? So what's the thought behind it?
Wow, that's a very good question. Now, okay, for when it comes to APA, they want to understand the market that are untapped. So we have a brainstorming team that wants to understand, is there any profession that has not been reached out in matters concerning insurance? So that is one thing that has made APA to be very unique. And recently in 2023, there's a company that is called Holland International.
All right.
It's a South African based insurance group, and they acquired 20% of their stakes with Apollo Investment, and that is our parent company. That's our parent company for APA Insurance. So when it comes to South Africa, they are very vast when it comes to insurance. They are very vocal. So for them, they understand what insurance is all about, and they know the risk exposure that is in different professions. So when they ventured, of course, they bring in the new products that the Kenyan market has not accommodated or is afraid to take up the risk. So when they came in, now that is when we realized there are so many people who, there's this market, this industry, the entertainment industry that has not been met yet. So now that is where the ITOO event liability comes in. Because now what we realize with most of the Kenyan people, we take insurance which we do not need. So you take an insurance today, and then when a claim comes, you find out you took something that you did not need.
All right.
So now APA came about with a tailor-made product whereby it's going to fit your need. And that's why I began by saying, I love providing insurance solutions to someone. So first I have to understand what is your need? What is the gap that you're experiencing in your field? Now from there, I'm able to provide a solution. It's just like a doctor-patient relationship. Yes.
All right, interesting. And actually, you mentioned a very interesting country, South Africa.
Yes.
In fact, last month during the IMEX, ICA released their 2024 ranking. And South Africa was one of the leading MICE destination in Africa, so followed by Kigali, Rwanda. Then Kenya was ranked the third. And it's true, yes. And that's why when I'm hearing you talking about the Holland from South Africa, because it's a very mature market, and it's doing so well. Yeah, it's doing so well, and hopefully that explains why they came to Kenya to tap into this market.
Yes, true.
Fast forward. So what? Now let's come to the event landscape.
Yes.
So what are these risks, potential risks that APA covers?
Okay.
Let me give you a case study. I have a conference for around 200 bucks in a hotel facility in Westland, and I'm streaming in delegates from different parts of the world, the country, and what are the touch points for APA on that? As I'm a professional conference organizer, so and I need insurance solutions. So what are some of the touch points that APA comes in, or some of the things that are unforeseen, but APA, so this one is going to lead us.
Yes, that is true. So first of all, I would begin by saying the risk and most of the biggest fear that event organizers do have is their reputation.
Yeah, that's true.
So imagine holding such a conference and then something unforeseen, like you said, happens. They end up saying there's that reputation will be spoken about, it will trend and all that. But now imagine you have a brand behind you that is watching out for you in the event something happens. They've got you back. And these things that are, whatever I'm talking about is a liability. Somebody can walk in, a delegate walks in, and unfortunately, a fallen object could be the lighting rig. A lighting rig falls from as it was installed, from the ceiling, or it could be they sat on a seat that was not functioning. Yes, and then they fall. Or maybe like I would speak of the conference that you're talking about. And there was a situation whereby somebody was being given an award. And so one of the delegates was told to come and give out the award. And he fell on the stage, at the stage, yeah. So that's a liability, and it can lead to bodily injury. So when APA comes on board, we are aware that a liability can come about by either bodily injury or maybe the property damage. Could be the entertainment desk for the DJ or maybe any other equipments that are there. So we are looking at property damage and bodily injury. Sometimes it goes to an extension of product liability. Of course, you brought vendors, food vendors, and now they are caterers. And then out of that scenario, somebody is poisoned, they get a food poisoning. That's also something that we cater for when it comes to the event liability. And it goes forth even to somebody suing you. Somebody can choose to sue you, or maybe if they are injured, it entails medical cost. So there has to be an emergency expenses that will be incurred in the process. So that is where now APA comes on board. And now it will provide a solution. And where you'll be seated at, you'll be like, I'm covered.
All right, interesting. So basically, property damage. Bodily injuries. So, and something else you've mentioned is in case food poisoning. Something happens, a caterer came with foodstuffs, then at some point the handling of the food became an issue. And that explains why, then that confirms my fear, because at times I go to events, then you find it's a huge buffet. I'm like, no, but I can have it like a takeout. Let's say, no, you can't get away with food. I think maybe they were fearing I'll sue them. I'm telling them. They say, no, it's the same when you handled the food on your way home.
It's not the same.
So that they don't allow people to get out of the food from the such.
Exactly, because in the event something happens, you are liable. So you owe, in short, you owe a duty of care to any person who walks into your event. So you have to make sure that you're well covered, because anything can happen.
Interesting.
Even a stampede, because you find maybe an incident whereby there's a stampede, people, especially in crowded places.
Those concerts, they're very prone to
stampede. And even we look at a situation where even flooding, sometimes you find maybe the tents were leaking and it's raining, and then some of the equipments which are very expensive. I came to realize you use a lot of expensive, your equipments are very expensive. So imagine such a situation where maybe there's a water spill or maybe a leakage and that machine is damaged. So there's a lot of risk that may happen. So it's something that you cannot predict. So to avoid all that, why don't you just take an events liability and you've got yourself covered. And then the beauty about the events liability is not a one-off. You can choose to take a one-off, but you find most of entertainers or event organizers, they have like a whole calendar
of events
in an year. So what you do, you just communicate with APA, this is my calendar. My calendar looks like this. So you're well catered for.
All right.
Yes.
So is events liability, is it the same as public liability, or those are totally two different things?
Yes, correct. That is a good question. So events and public liability is purely, I would explain it as the same, but now there's a difference. When it comes to public liability, it is premise-based. So let's say if you normally hold your events at a certain place. Maybe you own the venue. So that is purely, you can take a public liability. But you find most events that you host, they are mobile. Today you are in Carnival, tomorrow or you're in a different place. So you're moving from one place to another. So there's no you can take a public liability because it is premised. But when it comes to an event liability, it is a mobile liability.
And that for me as an organizer, so because I host events in different parts of the counties. Then I find it best that public liability insurance is best for organizations that like Sariti Expo, institutions that are stationary, because and it's a private property, but public coming on board.
Like for Sarit now, for them they will only take a public liability because now it is premise based. But now for you, you're moving from one place to another. That is for most events, because today you're hosting a wedding and they want a garden wedding. So you have to have an events liability for it to be you move with it, because on Saturday you have a wedding, on Sunday you have a baby shower, and then it goes on and on and on. So APA has given you that flexibility. You can move comfortably knowing that you're very well secured.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the event insurance and the conventional insurance we have as Kenyans? For example, I have my car insurance, then I have my health insurance separate.
Yeah.
So, or maybe to an extent, maybe I've insured my equipment with a specific insurer that have partnered with my manufacturer, that if you purchase this item, this insurance you need. So then, do I also need the events liability insurance while I still have existing insurance?
Now, like I said, we need to understand when you're taking an insurance, you clearly need to diagnose and know if it is for medical, it is purely for sickness and illnesses. But when it comes to event liability, it is a custom made. It is not cast on stone. It is tailor made for, because you find each and every event, it has its own unique ways. It has its dynamics. So for an event liability, so you have to take, it has an employer's liability in it, it has a product liability in it, and a public liability in it. So at least it is custom made, and it is a package. So, but now when it comes now to the medical and the motor insurance, that is purely a different, that's a different insurance package. But now for the event, they have harmonized everything and put it in one, and now that's what it's called an event liability.
All right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So far, how is the uptake? So how is the demographic engagement? So how are Kenyans receiving the product? How is the market response?
I would say the minute I started, or we started as APA, the conversation about event liability, I can tell you the demand is too high. Everyone wants to know, how fast can I take this? Like even the minute, I told you I'm from a meeting, and it was purely an event liability meeting. And I can tell you for a fact, any minute we do a presentation, they're like, how much is it? I need it now. Because once you educate someone, they're like, the risk exposure is too huge. Like based on that client who we had today, he was explaining that there was a stampede, and he lost one of his finger because of the whole crisis, trying to rescue the child and all that. So in the midst of it all, it was dislocated. He wasn't able to go to the hospital. He thought it's just something very minor, but there was a blood clot that led to he lost a finger.
Oh my gosh.
So you see, that's something that if there was an event liability, the medical expenses would have been catered for immediately. At least there would have been some awareness and as to how to handle such a situation.
All right. Makes a lot of sense. But also this is a challenge just to the industry. I think also as much as you're also getting insurance, you also need to ensure our planning is on point, because at what point do you even get in the stampede? Because this is my argument. Let's say we're having a sports event at Nyayo Stadium, and you know how the nature of our sports fan base are. So they are prone to such risks. So they're like, no, but as an insurance, yes, I know you took, but because you have the insurance, does it mean you guys, because you have an insurance? and that's something our conversation already said. It's unintended and unforeseeable, but some things are out of control. So at that point you say, but there you guys, I know they claim it was intended, it was your fault. So have you have such incidents? Because but there you see this one is an organizer's fault, it's negligence. They could have come, it was cable that maybe a delegate was coming, then so was struck by a loose wire, maybe she has heels, then she falls off, she twists her ankle. But boss, the cable is not supposed to be naked. It's supposed to have a strap to ensure. So we will say, oh, AP are going to sort that, because we need to fix. Because are you going? Enlighten me on that. So
what happens with liability? No, event liability. There's a word we have not talked about, is liability. So liability is purely in case you're sued. You're protecting yourself. In the event a legal claim comes in. So that is why you're taking, because you find for a wire cable, there's no way you can, it will have to, in a way, it will be exposed because you have rented out the place.
Yeah.
But we find situations whereby such claims come and we pay them.
Yeah.
If they go to court, that's where now the liability, we pay for the statutory, we pay for the legal claims, the defense cost, such things. So they purely happen. So the fact that you're taking, you as an event organizer, you are taking the liability in the event you're sued, in the event somebody is injured.
All right.
So purely, it can happen.
So basically it's more of like a shield.
It is a shield. It is a safety net.
Interesting. So what criteria does someone follow when he's claiming? For example, there's this common challenge we've been having in the event space.
Yeah.
So theft of personal property. Do you also have a package for that? Because you go to a conference, then unapata mtu ameweka handbag tu vibaya tu amesahau. So someone else decides kumwekea vizuri. I'm like, boss, it was intended for me. So does it cover also such?
Of course, insurance has a
limit.
Yeah, it has a limit. Like I said, it is a liability. So when it comes to bodily injury and property damage, but now you as an insured and you as a guest, you owe a duty of care to your properties. And that's why you find, even at the parking areas or when you're going into a building, you're told there's a caution in there that is said, park at your owner's risk.
Right.
I'm transferring the liability to you. So just know if you park that vehicle there and anything happens, Sarit Center we are.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do our best to do what we can, but some things are beyond our control.
Exactly.
So that's a disclaimer.
That is a disclaimer. For theft in event liability, it is not catered for. Yes, it is purely if you're injured. Because how would you prove that my bag was stolen? Did you see me walking with a bag or a phone?
Nice.
So there's no way we can. That's why it is purely.
It's also hard to claim.
Yes. Because now we are looking at the financial losses that would mean. You know what would happen in the event somebody is injured or there's a stampede? It would create a financial instability.
Yeah.
Financial loss, pure financial loss.
Yeah.
So theft.
Yeah, because you have to pay like for the medical bills for all the people that were injured.
Yes.
Compensation. Something all like that.
So when it comes to theft, purely now that is at your own risk. You just know you need to take care of your personal belongings. Yes, in the event they happen, we are out of it.
So what are some of the common event liabilities that the Kenyan market is really taking up more fast?
Which you mean by the organizers?
The event liability. So you find it's customized.
Yes, it is customized.
So, but what are some of the liabilities that they normally caution?
So what happens with the event liability? The public liability, like I told you, the bodily injury and the property damage, it is compulsory.
All right.
Yes, but now there's an option where it is the employer's liability. Because there's something that in the event liability, we do not cover your employees. That is purely, you have to take now a WIBA.
All right.
But now there's an element whereby, what if my employee sues me because of maybe they were injured at work? And I did not compensate them. So they can choose to take me to court. So there's that element where we call it employer's liability. So in case you're taken to court by your employee, we can cater for that. So in the industry, we are finding so many people, their main focus in the property damage and the bodily injury because it's something they cannot control. It is beyond their control. But you see now for an employee, it is something that you can work around it. You can manage it by taking a WIBA insurance. Yes.
Actually, I know WIBA is the most common. WIBA is the most common form of insurance.
Yes.
Especially when how do you call the casual workers? Because you normally say the event industry, it's a very technical. It's a very technical industry that is so hands-on.
Yes.
So there's a lot of wage involvement. So and WIBA is something that is very needs to be up because you find someone is doing a setup, then you fall off, you've broken maybe your leg or something, right?
It normally happens.
So is the event liability, does it have a WIBA also in it?
Yes. We can, like I said, we custom make.
All right.
We custom make the product. So once you're coming in, you're transferring your risk to us and you tell us this is what I want to cushion. So we purely provide that solution. So we custom make it. We need to understand what exactly do you want to protect yourself against. And now we we put the element of it in. But now that comes with an additional cost, because now that one we need to know the job description and the salary or wages. Now that's a different conversation.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Right, interesting.
Yes.
That completely makes a lot of sense. And if you look at it in terms of if you need to get an insurance, so what's the turnover time, or what are the period that is it a week, a month? Then when it comes now to the claiming for my liability, so how does it look like?
So I would say our turnaround time is very quick. So there's no way you're going to ask for a quotation. You've given us all the necessary documents, and we take forever to respond. So I would say when that partnership happened with the South African, the experts are currently on the ground. So the experts are on the ground. So the turnaround time is within few hours. With all the necessary documents, you get the quotation. In case you want to, on the onboarding process, it is very quick, because we understand how it's a fast moving, for the event, it's very fast. You work so quickly. So when it also comes to now the claim processing, still the process takes the same time. It's very quick.
Interesting. I know in Kenya we have an issue of I remember, is it the IRA that regulates? Yeah. So there is some numbers, and I was like, you guys, insurance, you guys are not, people are not paying claims outside here, and they've been ranking for a ratio. I don't know, 1:1. What you can kind of the same. So why the Kenyan industry, insurance industry, what's not happening with the claim? Because you guys are so quick to absorb, and I'm saying this in terms of the industry at large.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Yes, the insurance industry is so quick to have an uptake, but now when it comes to claiming, it's a whole stuff. Yeah, then the insurance brokers are leaving the clients on the dark.
Wow, that's a very sensitive question.
Yes.
And I will answer it.
But you're an expert. You know what the industry issues are.
Yes, I do. And the biggest issue that we have, I would call it's one of the principles of insurance. And we rely on utmost good faith.
All right.
Yes, and it means you need to disclose all the information. And Kenyans and information, there's always something that is missing. They leave out a detail. And the devil is in the detail.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you leave out that detail, trust you me, the claim will result from that detail that you hid from us.
All right.
So now when the loss adjusters and the experts are coming to follow up on the claim, they realize this thing was hidden from us. So it was purely an exclusion. So when you are onboarding a client, we need to understand, I need to understand what exactly, why do you need this insurance? Because when you see somebody coming to you, there's something. You need to get, what is the catch?
All right.
Have they experienced the loss before? Has an insurance ever declined? That's why when you go through the proposal form, there are those questions that you need to keenly feel. But we are quickly to just say no, just to feel and get the insurance. But now once a claim happens, the whole conversation is like, you said no to this, you did not explain. Right. So what happens? So we are getting the beating, and yet it is the Kenyans, it is us the Kenyans, we are hiding some information.
All right, interesting. But I think also it's the insurance agencies and brokers to ensure that they've really gotten as much critical information. Though I know it's the KYC. Yes. So it's in order. But now again, it's your role to ensure that the client really has exhausted everything.
Okay, it is true. There's that also element whereby agents are really failing in doing their due diligence and providing solution. You know, when you're not passionate about something, you just want to sell it and get something out of it. You just say, I've closed this bag, I've got my money, and you go, leaving the client exposed.
Are insurance brokers in Kenya regulated? So is there a body that regulates, or can I wake up in the morning and say, today, Simon, today I'm a broker at this agency?
Yes. They are regulated.
So it's a process, it's a procedure.
It is a whole process. Yeah, they have a regulatory body. Yes, even the agents. So even in the event something like that happens, and you feel like, no, this is so wrong, you have somewhere to go and report. and their license can be withdrawn. Yes, so there are laws that you can take and steps that you can take to ensure that no, there was some injustice to this particular claim. But now that information is not there to the public. So you find there's that scenario whereby the agent have failed on the job. They were just quick to make a sale, and then they leave the client exposed, which is still there. But there's also an element whereby a client did not expose. You don't disclose the material facts. So for you, for the underwriter who is seated back, the underwriter is relying on the agent's information based on the proposal that was filled and the client based on the payment that they paid. So it's a confirmation that you're in agreement and the contract is there.
That's just whatever you were saying, that Kenyans really take insurance that they necessarily don't need.
Yes.
Right? So that brings up like, now the stars align. So then whose role or whose job is it to educate the masses about the insurance landscape?
So the role goes first to the government. Like you see in the Western countries, insurance is mandatory. They actually pay monthly.
All right.
Yes, because you see for them, when you speak to anyone either in the US, the Western countries, they tell you every month they are deducted. Yes, for the insurance. So I think the government needs to do that awareness to the public and educate them that is purely, like I'll give you a scenario. Many people in Kenya, when they take, if you ask anyone with a motor vehicle who has a comprehensive, you ask them, why do you have a comprehensive? They're like, to cover myself and the car. And purely the comprehensive insurance takes care of the vehicle only.
Oh my God, not the driver.
Not the driver, no. You're left on your own. So you need a personal accident cover. So you find somebody, you've bought a car, you bought a car worth 10 million, you've paid for insurance for around 90,000, but you've not taken a personal accident, which is only 10,000.
That's per year?
And it's per year and covering you 24/7.
Interesting.
So imagine your vehicle, it's a total write-off. You're compensated and you've lost a leg.
Oh my gosh.
You have a missing limb.
Yes.
And then you say, now, hey, I had comprehensive. So what is happening? That awareness needs to be brought to the public. People to know that when I take an event liability insurance, this is what I'm covered for. And it gets to this. And then we need us as the insurance agents and brokers and the insurance company, we need also to educate the masses that there are exclusions.
Yes.
When you take this cover, there's something that we do not cover.
That's true.
And they are called purely exclusions. And we go through the exclusions so that when something happens, you clearly know, I was already notified about this exclusion. Yes. And then now also, as the Kenyans, the citizens, we need to know what are we purchasing. We are so quick. Once you hear there's this new product, like any product you hear, there's money market, there's this and this, we rush into it. And then when you sit back, you're like, oh, I think I needed something else. So we move by the wind. So
I think also it's just a striking a balance between wealth creation and wealth protection.
Exactly.
Right? Because I think as Kenyans, we are so huge when it comes to wealth creation and we forget to protect. Because you might work so hard, pile until 10 million and just a risk happen, like,
you're done.
Wipes you off.
It wipes you away. But I love what is happening right now. Before, people were very lenient when it came to insurance, and right now, especially because of the SHA, people now, the intake of insurance is now increasing. Actually, we're experiencing walk-in clients.
Oh, for real?
Yes, because now people have experienced something can happen. Especially during the flooding that happened last year in the Maandamano. It brought people to the limelight that anything can happen. I can lose a loved one. There are a lot of eventualities. So now it has brought people to that openness that insurance truly, it is protecting me, it's not stealing from me. Yes.
Interesting. I think it's character development. Walitandika kwanza na COVID, wakanyamaza, maandamano tena ikakuja.
Kwanza ilianza na flooding.
Actually, flooding then maandamano ikakuja. Ukitoroka kwa nyumba yako because of floods, unaandamana unapatwa na mawe huko hivi.
Nafusha.
It makes, but I'm glad actually to hear the uptake of health insurance is really
it's
skyrocketing.
It is skyrocketing, I can tell you for a fact, because people are really relying on the NHIF.
All right.
Yes, but now once it was, we couldn't understand what SHA is all about.
Yeah.
We were at a place whereby are we or are we not? So people now felt they're exposed. You're going to the hospital and you pay crazy, huge amount of money.
True.
And then I appear and I tell you, do you know, if you this 100,000 you would have paid insurance, you'd have a medical cover with inpatient, outpatient, and a comprehensive insurance cover. So people are really taking up insurance very rapidly, which is a good thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good stuff, because now you see if once that culture and that it's true testament that if a government supports something, the private sector is going to flourish.
Yeah.
Because it had to take all this she-sha conversation to come. Then now the uptake of health insurance started skyrocketing on the private.
Yes.
On the private side. Now, back to the mice industry.
Yes.
So, what other countries does the ITOO insurance staff operate in, especially in the African continent?
Yes, yes. So for the ITOO, we call it ITOO, ITOO Events Liability.
All right.
It is a worldwide cover. Yes, it covers you all across except into continents that is only in USA and Canada. So those purely they do not cover. They have their own laws and regulations. But now for any other, like you find maybe for the filmmakers today, they are moving from one place to another. They are shooting events from different countries or locations. So that event liability goes all across. Yeah, it's a worldwide cover.
All right, interesting. So that means if I get an insurance here in Kenya, I can still utilize it in South Africa. Just utilize it in Rwanda. In Rwanda,
wherever you go, as long as it's not USA and Canada. Everywhere else it's covered. We have gotten a very big chunk of the filmmakers. They are really taking the event liability, of course now with an element of cyber liability, but that's a whole conversation. But now it is bringing in that knowledge that there's this exposure. So how can insurance come in? So yeah, it is a worldwide cover.
You mentioned cyber liability.
Yes.
What's that?
That's a whole conversation where it entails in case there's a breach, somebody, if you've lost data. So it's a whole conversation. I wouldn't want us to mix the two issues because now we'll have to stay here the whole day. But it's something that people should take it, especially if you're dealing with data. Yes, it's something that you should take because in case you lose that data, that's a lot of losses.
Speaking of data, in the MySpace you also handle data. Yes, for instance, during the registration, when you're registering delegates coming at the entrance, you have their data, we have their piece of information. I think also that's a good touch point. So, but now I'm like, all right, so what exactly is protected? Because nowadays we have cloud.
Data protection.
Because actually cloud, so what ways, for example, we have a delegate, as I said, 1,000 delegates coming at Sarit Expo. There's registration happening. Then after the event, you realize, oh, we've lost the data for all the 1,000 delegates or the people that checked in. So we don't have their numbers, we don't have their emails, we can't track them down. So I'm saying that in correlation with the cyber.
Yes, but it wouldn't apply at that particular point because now that's a whole conversation. How did you lose the data?
All right.
Yes, so it's purely the cyber liability will not.
That's a whole stuff.
Yes.
All right, interesting. So is negligence an excuse?
It is not.
If you find that it was Simon's fault, it doesn't apply.
Okay, we will pay the claim, but now we'll have to follow up with Simon. Yes, because like I said, one, you owe a duty of care to any person who walks in. So you can't be dealing with slippery tiles and then you expect insurance to pay the full.
All right.
So there are some principles I don't want to delve into, but purely, like I said, you owe a duty of care to anyone who is walking in. You ensure that the place is well secured. That's why you find when cleaners are cleaning a specific place, there's a yellow cushioning that they put, wet floor. Why do they do that?
All right.
It's to let you know, bring you to the knowledge that you might fall. And in case you fall down, we are not liable. So like I said, negligence, it's a whole conversation, but you owe a duty of care. to any attendee or any person that is walking in, even to your employees. Yes.
All right. I think based on my own experience, I just need to get stats from you. So most of the event insurance, so what industries are more prone? So is it sports? Is it expos? Is it conferences? Is it summits?
So it is all. As long as it is an event, you both of you, the risk is still the same. You're handling third parties.
Right.
Yes. So it be it sporting, be it is a concert, be it whatever it is, as long as it has the word event. Even conferences, even NDA parties. Yes, that's even birthday parties. It's an event. So in case anyone is injured while at the event, they're going to sue you. So you need to protect yourself against it. Yeah. So it does not limit anyone from it. As long as it's an event, anyone, even exhibitions, we have done trade shows, they take events liability. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that actually makes a lot of sense. So as we near to watering down, when we talk about event insurance, so and we've talked about that the agencies needs to create more awareness to the public, then the government again needs to push and champion for insurance, make it mandatory where necessary or where possible. So what is our expectation to the clients, to our demographic when it comes to insurance? So now what's their role now when it comes to insurance? Because our role, we said, is to educate them, to create more awareness and to provide the solution. So then what's the client's role?
So when it comes to the client, when we are onboarding you, first you need to give us clear information.
All right.
Yes. As long as you have the information, you have the peace of mind. We've got you covered. That is the only role you as a client you have. But if you miss out on anything, yes, now the conversation changes. So when it comes to the client, utmost good faith, clear and detailed information.
Right.
That's all.
I think access to information it's coming up strongly in this conversation. Because do you mean there are some clients who provide half-baked information, or they omit some very critical information that is key for you? And
because they know, people have taken insurance and they know if I give too much information, the premium will go up. So they are withholding some information to ensure that the
price is low.
Yeah, the price is low.
Until a claim comes and they say, boss, you didn't say this, we covered for this.
True.
But
so
like, where ukusema?
And they are very good at saying that. And you can't prove.
But I hope it's clearly indicated in the policy document.
It is clearly. And what happens, another thing, when we give out the policy document to our clients, they don't go through it. So for me as a person, I ensure once I bring the policy document, because people are busy.
Can I defend them a little bit? It's too wordy.
It is too wordy.
The handwriting is so small that the content it's legal, like it's heavy English.
It is too heavy.
So it could be like there's a PPT you shared with me, like, wow. You're explaining to me like someone I know. So
I'm like you in court. So now that is why I come in. I ensure that whatever I'm giving you, you spoke about it. Like I told you, it's a doctor-patient relationship. So you walk into the hospital and you tell the doctor, I have a headache. These are the symptoms that I'm experiencing. So the doctor is normally seated there listening. And then they do a diagnosis, whatever they're going to do. And then now it's their turn to speak. And then they tell you, this is the problem that you've seen. This is the illness. So now that's where now, once you've spoken, I have provided a solution. Now it is my role to come back to you and we go through the policy document just to ensure in the event something happens, we are on the same page. So I'm not supposed to dash you the policy document. I'm like, oh, goodbye, adios, muchacho. No, it can't go that way. We have to go
until they understand.
Yes. And you see, when it comes to insurance, we are all learning. The jargons in the policy document, they are totally new.
That's true.
Yes, so I'm learning some, of course, the both of us are learning. When we go through the policy document, you pose a question.
Yeah.
And of course, it will intrigue me. I would want to know, to learn more about it. So, of course, I'll go back to the experts, be it the legal law, or the legal department. I would want to know more. So, as we grow together, we create a relationship as I'm also in learning and enhancing my skills.
All right.
Yes, so when a claim happens, it is seamless.
All right.
Yes.
So what is some of your biggest achievements as of now when it comes to the insurance brokerage?
As a person?
Yeah.
For me, I think I base my achievement on the happiness. When I see my client is happy. Of course, when I do numbers, of course numbers don't lie, but I wouldn't be happy whenever I have this big portfolio and I'm losing a lot of clients. Maintaining my clients is the biggest achievement. Because what happens when you maintain a relationship, they become your family.
Nice.
And in case you have anything, a wedding, whatever it is, a family gathering, they are the people who show up.
Yeah, you said you've actually talked about numbers, and something that just come into my mind. There is a financial organization that says the numbers that matters most to you, it matters most to us.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, all right, interesting. So the numbers are very important in your space.
Yeah.
Basically, key achievement is the relationship management that you're able to handle accounts, you're able to maintain and to ensure all your clients are happy, are well served, and each and at the end of the day, it's a win-win. It's a win-win for you.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, someone has a bad day in office. So
Can even walk in and we just discuss, because what happens, I do a lot of financial literacy to organizations when they call me, because most of the time is not even about me selling a policy. You know, you might sell a policy and then later on you realize, the client is even tired. It doesn't even want to see your face. So first, creating that relationship with a client, and then you educate them about things that may happen. You see, the financial literacy, you have touched something that is very personal. When Simon I come and tell you, how do you save your money? And have you taken a medical cover for your family? You see, we are having a personal conversation. So you have to open up. So you see, there has to be a relationship. So that's why I told you, for me, it's not about the many policies that I've sold. My achievement is based on I call it social capitalism.
Yes.
It is purely social capital. Yes, so that is how they refer me. That is, in the service industry, referral is the conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you can't be doing the knocking doors every day here and there, seeing new people. It has to come, it has to pay back. And now the social capitalism, that is where now the referrals come in. Because even selling your name, selling yourself becomes so easy.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting. So that's quite a lot of information to actually unpack. So now what I'm looking at it's this way. So then how do the insurance industry create trust and change the narrative and the perception that insurance it's not patapotea or something? So how do we build trust with the public to ensure that the uptake of insurance it's actually something that is
that is something that we are trying to, it's a work, I can say it's a work in progress. Like I said, Kenyans they were hesitant about taking insurance because we have seen so many insurances collapsing, having issues here and there. So of course, building a name, like I said, AP has really worked on building the name by doing sponsorship. They do CSR. Like we have done so many dams.
All right.
Within the Machakos County, we've done so many of them.
Nice.
So we are trying to make the name be known, and as we do that, we educate them the benefit of doing that. So we are trying to show them we are very close. And like you can see the name of AP Insurance, we say we insure happiness.
All right.
There's a smiley face.
Interesting.
Yes, on our brand. So whenever you purchase a policy, we expect you're smiling all the way through, from the onset to the renewal time. So it is a conversation of us being known to the public, ensuring that our claims are paid. Like I would give you a scenario that made APA emerge as a trusted brand. You remember a situation whereby JKI, there was a fire incident.
Yes.
Yes, and APA, they paid they paid 1.65 billion. Yes.
Oh.
Within a period of 6 months.
1.6 billion.
B.
Interesting.
Within a period of 6 months.
Interesting.
Which has never happened.
Oh, that is the biggest claim you guys ever received.
That is what made now it gave us now a brand, a very strong brand, because when the people who sit behind the scene, they do not joke with their brand.
Nice.
We ensure we give credible, incredible services. It's excellence all the way through.
All right.
So for you to see us being awarded as the company of the year, that tells you a lot.
Right.
Yes, it speaks volume.
All
so
right.
that is what we are working on.
Interesting. I actually didn't know that. It's quite a huge. It's quite a huge claim.
We don't joke with our claims because we need you tomorrow.
Nice.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm also purchasing an insurance after this podcast.
You should.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, we need also to ensure setup, lighting, everything.
Yes.
So it's important stuff.
Yeah.
So now, lastly, as we tear down.
Yeah.
What is the footprint for APA in the African continent? So are they operating in so what's the footprint for APA?
So we are in Rwanda, Uganda and Tanzania. Yes.
So you guys have gotten East African market by its horns.
Yes. Yeah. It's a big, APA is not a new company. It has been there for a very long time.
All right.
So, and now you can see we have stretched. We have brought the experts, the South African, into the Kenyan market.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the shift is going to be big. And then we are trying to go into the digital era, so to ensure that now we remove that customer, the customer now has a very easy processing, onboarding process without now the agent in place. So it becomes much easier. So we are transitioning to the digital space, so which is going to be a very interesting conversation. Of course, the agent will still be there in case you need an agent to help you out. The human, it is still there, but now it makes the conversation easier. We are moving now from the paper. We're going to the paperless. Yes.
Just on that high note, so this conversation is not complete without sustainability.
Yes.
So what are some of the sustainability initiatives that APA it's at play?
Okay, it's something that you're working on, that it's still ongoing. So we've done, like I told you, the dam.
Right.
Yes, we also did an event at Oshwal Center. There are so many. I don't want to burst the bubble. There's a lot of things that we are working on. So I would want you to watch the space and see how big AP is going, because we are so much interested to stretching out to every other person out there. Yes, as little as the common mwananchi to every person. So and AI. How is APA leveraging the AI? AI right now, it's a conversation right now. Yeah, like I said, it is part of the conversation that you're working in, because even for the underwriting part of it, we are now transitioning to AI. So we are trying to ensure, it's not in my place to speak about, yes. About that. It has their own expert. Yes, but it is, like I said, watch out and see the new. Just watch for the spaces. Yes. Yeah, something beautiful is coming out. Even the way we are packaging our products, we are trying to ensure that even the common mwananchi, even that person who cannot afford insurance, they are captured, they are well protected. So we are doing even micro insurances. We are tailor-making products for every class, be it the average, normal, whichever average, low. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I trust hotels. Are they taking up the events liability, or mostly it's on the public? Okay. For hotels, it goes two ways. So for a hotel, you find they take, if they do not invite event organizers, they purely take a public liability. But in the event, maybe like we've seen these days, a hotel, it's totally separate. If they have a garden, they totally separate. The garden, so they tend to bring event organizers. So they're trying to shift the blame Nice.
So they are transferring that risk to somebody else.
Right.
So whenever you want a baby shower to be hosted, they transfer that risk to the event organizer. So they even ask you, do you want us to host the event, or you have your own event organizer? So if you say, I have my wedding planner or an event organizer, now they are out of the picture. Now your insurance will come in place.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So who needs to take the ITOO event liability insurance, and why they need to have the liability?
Okay. So like I said, as long as you're hosting an event, so we are looking at event planners, organizers, be it a wine tasting, conferences, trade shows, exhibitions, cultural festivals. They are so huge. So as long as it's in the entertainment industry, you need an event liability, because we are trying to cushion on the financial losses and the reputation that is at stake. Yes. So that you need it for the sake of that reputation and the peace of mind. Yes.
So then who needs to take the event liability?
Yes. So
who's the target audience?
It is purely the event organizer or the planner, be it, like I said, even for the festival, if you're hosting any kind of event, you're an event organizer, an event planner, you need to take an event liability.
All right.
Yes.
Interesting.
And even hotels, conferences, even Sarit Center, because sometimes it can transfer, they can invite event organizers. Yes.
All right. Interesting. You know, Mice Dairy, we are partners for the Africa Mice Expo that is taking part this week, 12th and the 30th of June. That's going to be on Thursday and Friday respectively. So, and I've seen you're one of the speakers during
I'm happy I'll be part of the panel
discussion. So we'll be tackling about insurance and risk. So what do we expect?
I'm looking forward to a very interactive session.
Nice.
Of course, even to meet the rest of the panel. So I'm so excited. I'm hoping to learn a lot, to get a lot of insights, and also to see what the audience have to say about their view on the event liability. Yes.
I can't wait for you to evaporate wisdom. So, which means
it is important.
So, which means and overall, what is your expectation for the Africa Mice Expo?
I would say first, it's a beautiful experience.
All right.
And I've done a big research about MIC Expo, so want it to grow, and it's what I noticed. It is giving opportunity to the young people. So at least it's bringing fresh blood, bringing a lot of talents that need to be placed in the industry. Because as you can look at the entertainment industry in Kenya, it's not that big like every other insurance. Sorry, not insurance, but like any other countries out there. So I'm looking into the penetration and the name and the MIC, making the event liability so loud so that people may know. It may bring that awareness to the event organizers, why they need that safety cushion. Yes.
All right, interesting. So I want to give you this opportunity to talk to the MICE stakeholders. Get some parting shots or key takeaway from the insurance. So talk to them, tell them why they need to get the insurance, and have a key note for them.
So I think we have said a lot. I've said a lot about why ITOO event liability, but what I would love to leave something for you to digest. And I would say insurance is cheaper than regret. So you have a priceless talent. So why leave it to regret? Why waste your brand or expose your brand and your fans to a big loss that you can protect? So that's all I can say for now.
All right, interesting. That's solid. I didn't want to add much. So thank you so much for gracing our podcast.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to more people inquiring about more of the event insurance. So where can they find Betty?
So Betty Wambui, you can find her in LinkedIn. My LinkedIn page is Betty Wambui Kiambati. And of course, even my mobile number, which is always open 24/7, which I'm going to give Simon to showcase it, but I can also say it is 0722 716 776. You can call me anytime. You can even walk in to AP Insurance and ask for Betty Wambui Kiambati, and they'll be happy to connect you with me. So I am here anytime you need me to also or to walk with you through this journey. Thank you so much.
That only happens at Mice Talk Podcast. Let's meet at the Africa Mice Expo. Same place, same time. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.